Welcome to the girls' room. So glad you came to join us in the girls' room. Fun, fellowship, and love. The girls' room. Bring your worries and your cares. The girls' room. You won't leave the way you came. Welcome to the girls' room. So glad you came to join us in the girls' room. Fun, fellowship, and love.
Hello everyone, I'm Pastor Yolanda Whitlow-Tyus, and we are glad that you decided to drop into the girls' room. For those of you who do not know, the girls' room is a judgment-free zone where every woman's voice counts. We enjoy exploring topics that affect us as women. Nobody can talk to or about women's issues better than who? Women, right?
That's right.
That's why I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. Please remember, we love to hear from you. So keep sending in those emails and hit us up on social media with your questions and feelings about what we are doing here in the girls' room. Well, today we have a great show lined up. So without further ado, let's get it started. Let's welcome back our awesome panel. Francine Walker, Tamika Austin, Carla Pace, and Dr. Kim Logan Nolan. Come on, let's give it up. Yes. Today, we're addressing a topic that has been the focus of countless books, seminars, and conversations. If you guessed dating and relationships, then you guessed right. We know that there is a lot that can be said regarding these topics, and that is why we have invited Dr. Sabrina Jackson and Dr. Ty Adams, y'all, to share their insight. Welcome to the girls' room.
Yes, yes.
So, Dr. Jackson and Dr. Adams, let's get this thing started. Let's start with dating. Just the idea of dating alone, it can be overwhelming at times.
Yes.
Oh, wow. I think one of the main questions that needs to be asked here is there a right or a wrong way of dating?
I think so. For me, as a single woman, it's the struggle is real in these streets.
Come on.
I think that the pull of, for me, as a believer, we know and understand the foundational aspect of any relationship is spiritual. So the person must be first a Christian. But a lot of women stop there. For me, an engine comes standard in a car.
You better say it. Come on.
But I like upgrades. I like heated seats. I like rear reverse.
Come on now.
You feel me?
Yes, I do. Yes.
I like park assist, you know. So I think that a lot of times women don't understand what they should be looking for in a relationship. We go on personality, and the problem is that that's not what sustains a relationship. Any relationship has to have key components in order for that relationship to thrive in it. And because people will think, oh, because that person is a Christian, that they on safe ground. But again, the engine comes standard, and they have to have some other things in terms of the upgrade, like perhaps a relationship with God.
Yes.
He know how to, does he tithe?
Yes.
You know, is he living a righteous life? And so I think that we need to make a decision that we want to look at if that person has those qualities outside of just being a Christian.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
The very first thing that you need to know is what dating is.
Let's
Come on. Break it down.
Dating is collecting data.
That's all.
Come on. And so, collecting data. So that means you have to have a standard. If you don't have a standard, you are not collecting things that's necessary to make a relationship work. The other thing that's important, you cannot ask for something that you don't have. Example, I can't say I want a man that's honest, but I'm lying. Come on.
Yes. Well.
I can't say that I want a person that's faithful and I'm cheating. And when I say cheating, cheating has a spirit to it. So I might not be cheating on a man, I might be cheating on my taxes.
Oh, Jesus. Come on now.
So Dr. Jackson, what are some of the red flags And what should we do when we see those red flags?
One of the biggest, several. The first thing is when a man tells you that he can't talk to you, but between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., that's a red flag.
Come on now.
Okay. If you single, I should be able to talk to you whenever I want to talk to you.
Say that.
Secondly, when you see the red flag, don't try to fix the red flag, because too often you will take somebody that you're supposed to minister to and make him your mister.
Ooh, that's good right there.
So when you say minister, do you mean Build-A-Bear?
Yeah, you're not building a bear. You got to come built.
You got to come ready.
Come on,
You know,
I actually have a chapter in my new book, Keep Victoria's Secret, in regards to Build-A-Bear. Because a lot of times a lot of women take on a project.
Yes.
I'm too grown for a project. And I think that we have to allow a man to become, if you look at, God always does, he has a blueprint, he has a manual for what love and relationships and sex is supposed to be. And if you look at the blueprint, you'll see in the Genesis chapter 2 that the first thing that God did is he put Adam to sleep.
Yeah.
If a man's flesh is not put to sleep, you in trouble. You're going to deal with a man who's out of self-control. You're going to deal with a man that's probably dealing with pornography, masturbation spirit, because his flesh has not been put to sleep. And so a lot of times we're trying to awaken Adam prematurely. You need to keep him on snooze until God's begin to fix him up and build him up first.
Come on, keep him on snooze. Yes.
You know what? A lot of people get it twisted. We date, and then we marry, and then we have kids, and then we retire after the kids have left. For many couples, they forget that they need to go back to that first step of dating. It's like repeat. Even before your kids have left the house. Can you two give us some tips for those that are married, maybe 5 years in with kids, 10 years in with kids, all the way up until maybe 40 years in and you have an empty nest? How do we keep it fresh?
The first thing is that you have to remember that you loved the person first. And that when kids come, can I just be real?
Come on, please. You in the girls' room.
Keep it real.
They can be a distraction. So let me say this to women. I want to say this to women because I know women who do this. They will put all of their energy into their children and stop putting energy into their man. Oh, no.
Yes.
Please still love on, touch on, kiss on, rub on. Your man.
I want to say this, that some of the things that I counsel my couples to do is how to make love without making love. Because you need to go back to the relationship as friendship. Understanding, even though you want them to come built, but somehow along the way we missed our tune-ups. We got to rediscover each other because because when I'm driving my car now, it's something versus me driving my Bentley versus driving a Toyota. All right, I'm going to get that tune-up that I deserve, not just when I'm with him sexually. Now I'm not dating; I'm a widow, and let me tell you, I was married 30 plus, amazing man.
Yes.
You know. Okay, fine brother.
Yes.
All right, took care of me, loved me, nurtured me. See, nurturing. And I had no problems meeting him at the door completely naked, okay?
Come on,
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Can we do that? Can we go
Come on.
Praise God for the naked ministry, all right? You know, you got to keep them coming home, all right? You got to do things that's going to stimulate you and stimulate the relationship. Now that I am single and I don't look like what I've been through, all right?
Yes.
But now when men approach me, can your portfolio even match my portfolio? Can we go there? So if you're not bringing everything to the table, I'm not going to allow you to take me out of the stock exchange. I'm staying in there, all right?
Yes.
Okay, I better leave that alone.
Yes.
Okay, so my question is, now you already know, as women, we go into situations with this nice grocery list. We're like, okay, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want this to come with it, I want that to come with it. Is it good to have a list or that standard that we set sometimes that could possibly be a little unreachable?
I think that you should have a fundamental blueprint in terms of what you're looking for. But I think for the most part, many of us, our type is keeping us single.
Okay.
Because you're looking for something specific, something that you've already awakened your appetite up to, and you've got to change your palate sometime because you're missing out on something that God wanted to open up you to something that you don't even know really exists.
That's good.
And so I think that we have to have a foundational framework in terms of what God has already lined in terms of what you should be looking for, but then also leave room and space for God to make room for something that, to go above beyond what you can, where he do the Ephesians 3:20, what you don't know what to ask for.
That's right. Don't even know.
Ooh, that's good right there. This has been a great conversation so far. We're going to have more from Dr. Jackson and Dr. Ty when we return. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the girls' room. I'm here, yes. Pastor Yolanda is here with some fabulous women and our guest panelists, Dr. Sabrina Jackson and Dr. Ty Adams. Let's give it up, you all. Come on. So, let's continue this conversation, ladies.
All right, we were talking. Okay, we talked about you got to keep them the way you caught them. All right, but let's go to something.
Can you quote that again?
You got to keep. Well, listen. If you're going to keep them, you got to do what you got to do to keep them there. All right.
Yes.
You caught them. Now you want to keep them. All right. When you catch a fish, do you want to throw it back unless it's a bad fish? All right.
Yes.
So my thing is, when you're greeted, now we're talking about dating. We know we're talking about dating. I love what Dr. Sabrina said, that dating is collecting data.
Yes.
But a lot of us in our relationship married, all right, because if you're not married, you have no business having sex outside of marriage. It's a sin against God.
Yes.
All right, but we don't want to say that. We don't want to talk about it from the pulpit on down to the White House. We don't want to say it. We just want things just go business as usual. But someone has to say no. So the bottom line is greeting my husband. Husband is a word that is to be cherished. Wife. You don't just give that term to somebody. Greeting him in the way a wife should. Loving on him. I can touch him and I can be with him, and then being in bed with what is this that you got to cut the lights off at night? Let me see your body. Let me see who I'm with. All right? I'm talking to the married folk now. All right? Why I got to get up under the covers and all that?
So what about single people?
No, you just have to wait. Okay? You
But
gotta
what about
wait.
single people? Let's talk about dating.
Yes.
Let's get back to some dating. Like,
Okay.
what about dating multiple people at the same time?
That's messy.
that's good.
Why is that
That's
messy?
Well,
But why
it
is that
might-
messy?
'Cause are you
If we're
honest
not,
about it?
if we're not sleeping together,
Right.
why would it be messy?
Okay, but are you honest about it? Do they all know that you're dating each other? I mean,
they
you're
have to
dating.
know?
I'm dating.
Yeah, they gotta know. What you mean they gotta
wait a
know
minute.
now? They know now.
What about I'm dating?
Okay, you're
I'm
dating.
dating,
So-
and I have not made a commitment.
So, but
That's
this-
all they need to know.
But my thing does, each of those three men know you are dating other men.
I'm dating.
That's it.
That's an umbrella statement.
That
They don't
I'm
need. They
dating.
don't tell me that.
They don't tell you anything.
So, they're not being specific. Like, hey, I'm dating 3 or 4 different women. So why should I be forthcoming with all these specifics?
And that's a healthy appetite, though. So why?
Appetite for what?
That's what I'm asking you.
For breakfast, lunch,
and dinner.
a shopping excursion.
I'm collecting data.
Yes.
I'm not imbibing anything.
Okay. All right.
I'm
So
simply collecting data.
Oh, yes.
I'm looking at the menu.
you're looking at the menu. To see
So
what
if
you
I'm
like.
looking at the menu, I haven't eaten yet.
Right.
But how do you pinpoint on that particular?
Based on my list.
But you got some. Remember what Dr. Adams said? You got distractions.
Well,
Not
let me
necessarily.
You don't
let
think
me-
that's a distraction?
add, I mean, for the ladies who know my story, I kind of understand where Francine is coming from, because my husband and I, we technically never dated, but I had a lot of options on my table. It was like a buffet.
Right.
And I had
What you say?
Dr. Jackson, can you
Dr. Jackson, we need your help.
because I wanted to understand what worked for me and what didn't work for me. So this individual brought this to the table, that individual brought this to the table, but none of those individuals had everything that I needed or wanted. But when my husband stepped in, before I knew he was my husband, it was like, oh, wait a minute, that. And before I knew it, it was like, this is a no-brainer right here. So when he popped the question, I automatically knew, because that person didn't have this, that, and the other, they had this, but he had all of that. And I knew it worked for me.
And a bag of
Jackson,
chips.
what would
And a
you
bag of chips.
See, I did that in college.
Can I say this? Please. And I think that as women, we get our thinking twisted because we say things that we try to do things that are outside of our nature. It is in our nature to connect. It is in our nature to nurture. So it can be dangerous if you date multiple people if you can't control yourself. So if you know yourself, and you know that I am just dating and I'm honest, because anybody has a problem when you lying.
Absolutely.
So just don't lie. I just don't believe in that. But the other thing that I hear people say all the time is that I want a man to bring as much to the table as I bring to the table. Well, my son taught me something. He says, Ma, you don't need somebody to bring something to the table. You need somebody that has a place to put the table, because you bring a table all by yourself.
Come on now.
Well, for me, and I probably get in trouble with this statement, but too much experience can destroy you. Experience is not always the best teacher. And I think that what we're doing is we're bringing in these worldly dating things that we did out in the world, and we think we can bring them into the kingdom of God, and it don't work here. And so we're displaced, and we're taking our spirit and placing it in multiple relationships at once. And so now you're prolonging the single stages of your life because you're scattered here. You got this man over here who can do that, and you got Tony over here. But the problem with this is that I think that there should be something distinct about Christians when they date. There should be something separate about us. There should be some level of integrity. There should be holiness. There should be righteousness. There should be something that say, God, I want to please you with a righteous life, and I'm not going to squander another man's heart and be over here acting like I'm committed to him when I really only want a free meal.
So what about the shortage we talked about earlier, though? Let's talk about the shortage in the body of Christ for available men before we start zoning in on that one and there's zero available.
Let me say this. I don't believe with everything in my spirit that there's a shortage of anything for kingdom-minded people.
Okay, now we talked about it.
My question is,
all right.
because now the girls' room is the girls' room. This is the women's place to talk, right?
That's right.
Yes.
And we're being honest. We're not only talking to church women.
That's
We're
right.
not only talking to Christian women. What we want to do is make sure that we're talking to everybody. We're speaking to everybody. And when we specifically talk about what a Christian woman should do and what certain women should do, it's almost like we're browbeating anybody else that's not under that umbrella. We have to realize that being a woman does not mean that you are a Christian woman. Being a woman means that you are a woman, period. And we have to make sure that because women look at situations, and everybody look at situations as, I don't want to go into the church because I don't want to be browbeat. And that's why churches a lot of times are chasing out people, because instead of teaching or opening up the door and then saying, okay, this is what women do in general, we're always specifically saying, this is what a Christian woman should do, this is what this and this is what that. But right now we're trying to broaden this right now and then say, as far as women in general, what do we want? You know, in the dating world, what does everyone want? How does everyone stay happy? And I think that we're gonna come back to that.
Yeah, we gotta take a
This
break.
is good right here.
Okay, take
Do
a
y'all
break.
agree? Is this not good? We're going to have more from Dr. Sabrina Jackson and Dr. Ty Adams.
Yeah.
Wow. Today, my mind went back to what it was like to date and saw myself in many of these experiences. Yes. Dating and relationships require two people willing to put in the work to build a long-lasting relationship, which can be overwhelming. But the beauty of it is, well, it's going to be well worth it, what you all go through to get to that reward. Do not shy away from the growth that will take place. Relationships are a mirror, helping you to see who you really are and what you are made of. Come on, somebody. Enjoy the process and make God the head of your relationship. He will lead and guide you. Single sisters, marriage is not a destination, let me tell you. Woman, it's not that we arrive just because of that ring on your finger. You are 100 just as you are. Your 100 to his 100, come on, the two shall become one. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Girls Room. Our thanks go to Dr. Sabrina Jackson and Dr. Ty Adams today. Please email us or hit us up on social media. We want to know what your thoughts are. Women, we're women, don't we want to know?
Exactly.
Hit us up today.
Yes.
Don't hold back. We want to know what your feelings are here in the Girls Room. We look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, remember that your greatest success is your next one.
All right. How about that?
Welcome to the Girls